Welcome to the Formula One Grid Talk podcast post-season, where today we'll be reviewing the drivers' seasons as a whole, all 20 of them. So if you don't like opinionated and strong views, this is probably not the show for you. We are powered by the F1 Chronicle. Be sure to visit f1chronicle.com for news, reviews, and opinions on all things F1. Hosting today will be me, George Howson, and joining me today are Master of Engineering, Jack Watson.
Good afternoon.
And Mr. Sam Bam himself, Sam Parker.
Hi, are you all right?
Very well, mate. Very well. Thank you both for joining us. Hopefully we'll have a third.
No worries.
Hopefully Lou will join us partway through. I don't know what he's doing, but we'll ride it out without him. It's fine. So we'll go in reverse order in the drivers' standings, the grading, and we'll do a system like you get in school, or used to get in school anyway. A all the way down to F to rate the drivers' seasons. So unfortunately, that means we've got to start with George Russell, Jack. And, you know, a glance at the championship standings, you think to yourself, 0 points, behind his teammate, he's done a pretty bad job. But if you actually look at his season, he's done an incredible job in his first year.
Oh, absolutely. I think I mentioned it last time I was on, that there is the season with standings doesn't speak for his performance as a driver. But a 21-0 qualifying record over Kubica. So no, absolutely, you can't just take the standings at face value for quite a few drivers actually as well. But yeah, a fairly strong opening season considering that that Williams car as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. He may not got any points. He may not go into the top 10, but there were some stand-down performances in there. In Brazil, he got 12th. In Germany, he got 11th. In Monza, in Italy, he got 14th. There's some good results there because that Williams car, Sam, has been nothing short of an absolute backmarker. It's a miracle that Kubica even scored a point. I mean, it was a freak race to start with, really, wasn't it? So, you know, Russell's done a brilliant job.
Yeah, no, he's done pretty much all he can do, really. It's just beat his teammate in qualifying, try and finish as many races as he possibly could. And I'm not sure how many races he retired from, maybe 2, was it?
Yeah, just 2.
No, Russia, where his brakes failed. I can't remember the other one.
Singapore, he got crashed out by everybody's favourite.
Grosjean,
Romain Grosjean,
yeah. So yeah, George Russell's done all he can do this year, really, and let's just hope he can continue into next year. And then I think he'll wipe the floor with Nicholas Latifi, to be honest.
He could well do. I can see that happening. Honestly, I've said it a few times in this show. I think Russell is a potential world champion for the future. He just needs the car. Like a lot of drivers on the grid, he just needs the car. And hopefully Williams will get better next year. It'd be hard to be worse, but we'll see how they go.
And also, he did some testing in Mercedes there, I believe, and I think he was probably top of the standings at some point.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll be in Mercedes in a few years' time, hopefully.
Yeah, if he keeps performing like that, he will do. I mean, I'll start off the grades. I'm going to give Russell an A. You know, you can't fault the guy. I mean, 21-0 in qualifying, like Jack said, in the race, he's consistently out. I'm not going to get stats up for him versus Kubica in the race, but it's probably something like 17-4 or something ridiculous like that. Like, he's absolutely wiped the floor with Kubica, who we know is a very talented driver. Obviously, he's got his impediment with his arm. He's been a long time out of the sport, but he's no slouch at the end of the day, and he's done all he can do. So I'm going to give him an A. Jack, what are you saying?
I would say A. Yeah, definitely done all he can with the car, and I mean it's pretty conclusively beat Kubica. So yeah.
We're going for a triple A, Sam?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, no argument from me there. It's the same points really as E2 said.
I'm glad we're all in agreement then. I don't think that's going to last through this show. But we'll see. So 19th, Robert Kubica beat his teammate in the standings, but like we said, overall he's been absolutely wiped the floor with by Russell. And you know, it's a hard one, Jack, because you know he had so much time outside of F1. He's got that trouble with his arm. It's an absolutely incredible achievement to make it back to F1 after all this time. But at the end of the day, he's not performed on his comeback, really, has he?
No, I think he's fell foul to his own hype, to be honest, because everyone who knew him coming back, or most people that knew that he was coming back, were excited, myself included, I will admit, because he he was one of the people that terrified Hamilton. He had that tenacity and that capability to be untouchable when the BMW let him. So yeah, like I can't fault him too hard, because the fact that he came back at all, that gap on its own is such a hurdle to overcome, notwithstanding the lack of motion in his right arm, or left arm. Yeah, like in these circumstances, it's going to be a lot, I think, happening through this show in their circumstances, blah blah blah. But yeah, I'd say it was quite a strong performance. Again, not helped by the Williams.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because we don't know how bad that Williams is. We just know it's bad. We know it's off the pace. We don't know how off the pace. Maybe Russell's putting in a performance that's on par with people like Hamilton. We can't really say. We just know that car's not good.
You do sort of see in his interviews, like particularly I sort of noticed one at the end of the season, post-race, all that. And you could see he seemed almost dejected by the fact that he had another season in the Williams, because they seem to have settled quite quickly on, we know we're back at the grid now, so all we can really hope to do is just close that gap. And maybe they did, but yeah, like, I think that kind of shows just how poor that car was. I mean, results like Hungarian qualifying notwithstanding, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrible car. I mean, they did close the gap a little bit to Haas, but Haas were literally running an Australia spec car for almost the entire season. So that's probably why. Yeah, I mean, you have to take things a bit of perspective, but if we're being harsh, we're being realistic, we're just going on pure performance, not including the disability with his arm and stuff like that. Sam, you have to say it's been a poor year for Kubica on his return.
Yeah, well, as we said earlier, he's been beaten 21-0 in the qualifying, probably at least 3 seconds off the pace in every race, been lapped probably at least twice in, well, every race probably, apart from the races that were close because of safety cars. And in Germany, I don't know how long he was lapped in Germany, but he's done as well as he could. It's a great achievement to come back. But yeah, I think his time's up and we move on.
Yeah, we do move on indeed. Thank you for joining us, Louis, sports journalist Louis Edwards. Just talking about Kubica and, how, it's been an incredible comeback for him to come back into the sport. But at the end of the day, on his return, he's not performed really. I mean, he's been absolutely destroyed by Russell in the Williams.
Yeah, I got the feeling with Kubica this season that the sport had kind of left him behind. When he went out of the sport in 2010, 2011, this Formula One has moved on so much. And I think it would be difficult for any driver, not just Robert Kubica, to get back into Formula One. You think even the likes of maybe like Jarno Trulli or Timo Glock, you imagine them back in Formula One. I don't think they would perform as they did when they were sort of in Formula One. You have to give him credit where credit's due. He's done amazingly. He managed to get a point, but I think it wasn't the best season from Robert Kubica, and I think it's far from the Kubica that we all used to know in Formula One. Yeah,
a sad sight to see in a way, but at the end of the day now we have the answer to the question, how would he performed if he came back to F1? He did it, he came back. So I think in terms of his actual performances on track and stuff, I'm going to be a bit harsh. I'm going to give him like an E. But in terms of the sporting achievement, coming back to F1, A-star, can't fault him. Unbelievable, incredible story. But if we're
an A for effort.
Yeah, A for effort, yeah. No, honestly, genuinely, yeah. A for effort for coming back, for doing that. And, a lot of drivers would have just given up. They would have thought, I had my time in the sport. I don't quite have it anymore. It's been too long. But he never gave up. And I honestly didn't believe him when he said he wanted to come back and he thought he could. He did it. Proved a lot of people wrong. So A for effort in terms of pure performances, about an E, I'd say. Jack, what are you giving it?
I'd go D. It's not the best, but when the cameras have shown it, you can still see he's got that that talent there. He's still willing to go wheel to wheel for half a lap of Austria. So, yeah, I'd say he's not completely lost it. So D, and I wish him well with BMW and DTM.
Yeah, absolutely. We wish him all the best. I'm pretty sure we all do at the F1 Chronicle. Sam, what are you giving F1's only Polish driver?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack and say D as well. He's had a few good on-track battles, and at the end of the day, he did score more points than Russell did. So I'm going to go with D as well.
He is higher in the standings. That is true.
Yeah.
Can't take that away from him. That away from him. Louis, how are you rating Kubica?
I'm also going to go D. I think I think Jack and Sam have explained it perfectly well why he did. I think it wasn't at the end of the day. He was limited by his car, and I think, and he did definitely show at times that he's still up for a battle, and I think you can't take that away from him.
No, that's true. Some of the fights between him and Russell were brilliant. They're fantastic. Just a shame they were for lots of places all the time. But yeah,
they had a good fight in Mexico, I believe, for a few corners.
Yeah. And France, they had a good one.
And Italy. Loads of races they've had battles, but it's usually been when Russell's been trying to get past Kubica, not the other way around.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. So, and Louis, how would you rate? I mean, we gave our grades on Russell. We all gave him A's across the board for his season. What would you rate him?
Yeah, 100% an A. I mean, he's truly outperformed that Williams. He did a great job. It's a shame he didn't get a point this season because I think he was thoroughly deserved and won. But yeah, it is an A. Absolutely brilliant job.
Yeah, I think it's a quadruple A. I think that's very well done for Russell. Looking bright for the future. Just needs to get a better car. Now, a driver that I'm honestly surprised to see coming back in 2020, Romain Grosjean. He was 18th in this year's standings, 8 points. I mean, Grosjean, he showed he's got talent in the past, but that time was a long time ago. And this year, I think he's had a really poor year. He only scored 3 times. Last time he scored was Germany, which is a freak race. Even Kubica obviously scored in that one. If you take that away, he only scored a single point in Spain and Monaco, I believe. That's it. It's been a horrendous year for him and Haas, hasn't it, Jack?
It's not been great, has it? It's a tough one to call, but I mean, it does seem like he's ranking with people in the F1 paddock because he sort of developed quite a reputation being quite competent, and it's just sort of slowly. It's not helped with Haas sort of development stagnating, but you can see a lot of those 2 points that you mentioned, Spain and Monaco, both tracks where overtaking is very hard. So that Haas has used its qualifying pace and just sort of stayed where it still sort of stayed there in a race. So not great for Romain. I think he's probably become more known for his incessant whining over the radio.
There's a few jobs that could apply to, definitely.
Much too good to Steiner's annoyance.
Oh, well, I can't. We'll see all of it. We'll see all of it in the Netflix series.
I still need to watch the first one.
It's brilliant, mate. Honestly, I really recommend it. I couldn't recommend it highly enough. But yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, Sam, the Haas has been a bad car this year. It's been rubbish for the most part. Good qualifying pace, but dire in the race for the most part. But still, I think Romain Grosjean's definitely fallen short of expectations this year.
Yeah, he's had a bad year, but I also think he's had a few times when he's been quite unlucky. Melbourne, he obviously retired with another tyre suspension failure, I think. So, and then obviously crashed with Russell in Singapore, which was kind of 50-50, I'd say. So yeah, there's a few times when he's been a bit unlucky, but yeah, he's definitely had a poor year, that's for sure. I think last year even though he had such a poor start to the year, he had a very good end. And I think he was very lucky to retain his seat for next year. But I think next year will definitely be his last year in the sport. I don't see him staying around for 2021, to be honest.
No, I don't. I'll be shocked. I mean, he'd probably be about 35 by then, something like that. He's no spring chicken. He's getting on. Yeah, I'm shocked to see him coming back next year. Frankly, Louis. I mean, he's made some bad mistakes as well. I mean, we mentioned earlier on about him crashing out Russell in Singapore. I'm sure he's had some other crashes too. He's still got that in him, and he's not really had that much pace compared to Magnussen.
Oh yeah, Magnussen's been the far better driver last year. This year, I think just a better driver in general, to be honest. More consistent, more aggressive. Was able to finish races more consistently. Yeah, I think Grosjean, he's had a poor year, but he's also been a bit unlucky. We shouldn't forget that.
Yeah, a bit unlucky. Would you go along with that, Louis?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think I'm definitely one of those people who are really confused on why he's got to drive next year.
He's probably took a salary cut. That's genuinely part of it, apparently.
All right.
Because he's cheap.
There's always something behind it all.
Yeah.
I think it has been a very poor effort from Haas and Grosjean this year. You know, the fact that he was happier with his Australia spec than any other spec that they ever gave him, I think says a lot.
Mm.
And even then, that car just wasn't great. And I don't think the two drivers made it any better. I think the team just had a bit of a nightmare this year. But you know, to finish 18th in the championship after doing so well last year, you know, being in contention for that sort of fourth place in the constructors, you could put fault on both driver and car, I guess.
Yeah, it's the driver and the car. They've both been terrible this year. I'm going to give Grosjean, again, maybe a bit harsh, I'm going to give him an E as well. I think, you know, he did score points. That's why he avoids an F, but he barely did that, and he's made a lot of mistakes too. Jack, where would you go with Grosjean?
Yeah, he's been unlucky, but I think I would also go with an E. Like, just looking at his results, there's 7 DNFs there, and I think a majority of that are potentially self-inflicted. I can't quite remember all of it off the top of my head, but yeah, I think an E's justified.
Sam, are you going to continue the trend? Is it another E?
I'm going to be a bit nicer and say D. Yeah, I think, obviously what you say, he's had a poor year, but then, like I said before, I think in some races he's been a bit unlucky, and then car's been an absolute dog, really, hasn't it? So it's just they haven't been able to basically connect the tyres to the rest of the car somehow. I don't quite know how they've done that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a D.
Right, Louis.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with an E. Yeah, I just not really rated Grosjean much this season, and yeah, not much to say.
Okay, so next up, Antonio Giovinazzi, 17th in the championship. I think that doesn't really do him much justice, to be honest. I think, honestly, for his first full year in F1, having Raikkonen as his teammate, not having that great of a car, Jack, I think he's done a good, solid job. I really do.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd say he's had a fairly respectable first full season, sorry. A bit nondescript perhaps, but then again, I suppose that is quite easy to happen when you've got Raikkonen as a teammate. So yeah, I think he can be fairly happy with it. So yeah, he's just going to look forward to pushing on for next year, trying to develop the last year of the spec.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy having Raikkonen as a teammate, obviously, world champion, massively experienced. But towards the end of the year, Sam, I'd put to that Giovinazzi was on par with Raikkonen in terms of form at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, the second half of the season after Belgium, since Belgium, he's been much, much better than Raikkonen, I'd say, in terms of finishes, points, and his general performance. First half of the year, he didn't really do much, did he? I think he only scored 1 point in France, had a couple of mistakes in, was it Canada? He spun out Silverstone, he beached himself. Then second part of the year, we've had that good finish in Italy in this home race. Now I think he's had a very positive second half of the year and can go into next year now with quite a good amount of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, somebody didn't do that much in the first half of the season. He didn't keep his nose that clean, but he kept his nose clean in Brazil, Louis, and got a 5th place for it. I mean, obviously a lot happened in that race, but still, he had to avoid the trouble, and he got a 5th to his name. So I think it's been a good year for him.
Yeah, I think what you said doesn't do justice at all. You know, it was quite a slow start to the season, but he really, really did pick up his form, and he's shown that he had this sort of the faith that everyone had in him, like when he was back with what was Sauber a couple of years back. You know, I think he can really mature into a good driver and really, you know, push on in his Formula One career.
Yeah, definitely. I think next year will be very interesting. I think he might well beat Raikkonen next year in the Drivers' Championship, but we'll see. We'll see if Kimi responds. I want to give Giovinazzi a C. I think he's been solid, not particularly spectacular. I think C's probably around it where he is. He's passed his subject. He's passed F1. He's got another contract, so he's done all right. Jack, what would you give him?
Likewise, C. It's the safe debut year that you would want as a driver. So, yeah, I'd go with C.
Sam?
Yeah, same. C. Standard. He's not been the best rookie this year, but he's been good. Yeah, I think he's had a decent opening season. So yeah, C. I think C's like the only score we can give him, really, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. Louis, do you want to give him a different score? Do you want to keep the same score?
No. Yeah, I don't see any other letter we can give him, to be honest. So he's just the standard. Good year.
We're all agreeing with each other so far.
Yeah, I know it's not.
It's not going to last. This one might be a dividing one. Kevin Magnussen. I beat his teammate Grosjean, Jack, but still, it's kind of hard to judge him. I mean, I think maybe it might be around the same grade as what Giovinazzi was, average in a car that was awful. He did get some good points finishes. He got 6th in Australia. He got points in Russia when that car was useless. Yeah, he's had some good races, but inconsistent probably as well.
Very inconsistent. I mean, it's Magnussen. Like, his aggression can sometimes put him in a sticky situation. So, but yeah, like, he capitalised on that car's performance when he could. So, like, the first quarter of the season when it was actually reasonable, he did what he could. We got 8 points in Australia, 6 points in Spain, but quite inconsistent. Comfortably ahead of Grosjean, I would say, but yeah, it's probably on the same vein as Giovinazzi, and just got to hope to sort of level off a little bit for next season. But then again, we say that every year about Magnussen, and it probably won't change.
No, I think he does deserve his seat for next year. But he's not been spectacular. It's not been his best year by any stretch. Sam, how do you rate F1's Great Dane? I mean, obviously, he's very dividing in terms of his aggressive style. I think it's very eloquently to put it like that. But he did get some good points finishes.
Yeah, it's hard to say, really. I love his aggressive style, to be honest. I love he just doesn't really care. He'll ruffle feathers, which is good to see. So it's not one of these boring like robots. Just says whatever the press people want him to say. You never know what he's going to come out with. Like in Canada when he was like moaning on the radio, and then Gunther Steiner told him to shut up. Well, that was hilarious. But in terms of his performance, he's done okay. He did better in 2018, definitely. I think he had a very good season in 2018. 2019, it's tailed off a bit. Then that's the same as the car, really. That at the end of 2018, they looked like they could go on and be the 4th best team. And in Australia, they did as well. But then ever since then, they've been falling further back. And then ever since really maybe Russia, they've been like, yeah, screw this year. See you next year. Really.
Yeah, I mean, probably maybe even earlier than that. I mean, they were trying with the car to repair it, but it was just off. And yeah, like you said, Sam, I mean, I think Louis will go along with this as well. I mean, Magnussen's performance has gone with the car from last year. Like, they were a lot better last year, and Magnussen was a lot better last year. But it's not been I don't think it's been a particularly bad year. Like, he's not been as bad as some of the drivers we've said so far. He's been nowhere near as bad as Grosjean, obviously.
You forget the fact he qualified 5th in Austria, which is absolutely remarkable.
Finished 19th, though.
I suspect there might have been more for his car, though.
Yeah, no, they were struggling with the tyres. It was ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
Anybody who was in Austria that weekend, like me, it was like the desert. It was like Sahara Desert. It was ridiculously hot.
You got to give him some credit for sticking it on, stick it in 5th.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think William Story sort of said it best when the Haas is a bit of a milk float this season. It's been truly appalling, and I think we've seen Magnussen. He's just we like to see the best from Magnussen when he's got a competitive car, like we saw in 2018. We really did see the best of him. His aggressive style, his aggressive defending against cars that were also in that tight midfield battle. Yeah, and I think just because the car was so bad this year that we just didn't see the best from Magnussen. And in 2020, if they can get a more competitive car, I think we'll see a better Kevin Magnussen.
Yeah, I go along with that. I think for this year though, I'm gonna be maybe a bit generous, maybe a bit harsh, depending on what Sky defends you well. But I'm gonna give him a C as well. I'm gonna say it's been an average year, not as good, not his best, but maybe his worst, but not the worst. You know, it's not been a terrible year for him by any stretch. Jack, how would you rate Magnussen?
Yeah, I'd go C. Comfortably top driver in the team. Scored points where he can. Cars let him down. But he has also monstered qualifying quite a lot. It's normally him ahead of Grosjean. So, yeah, I'd say he deserves C.
Sam?
It's going to be another for each other with each other.
It's comfortable upon this fence, mate. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's got to be a C again, isn't it? Really.
Louis, are you on this fence as well?
I mean, I have to give him a C because I gave Grosjean a D.
Yeah.
So
I gave Grosjean a D, so I've kind of got to give Mag at least a C, really.
Right, okay. So this will be an interesting one next. Lance Stroll, a guy who unsurprisingly who's unsurprisingly got another contract for next year. He always would do. I mean, why would he not? He did have a very good result in Germany, but I think that's largely carried him, Jack. It's, you know, especially when you compare him to Perez, he's not really there, is he? He's miles off his teammate, really.
Yeah, looking at it, 12 points from Germany, that makes up the rest of his results combined only amount to about a third of that. Actually, no, maybe 2/3 of that. But he's consistent. He's not the quickest, but he is consistent. He's normally there or thereabouts, just about into the top 10 or just out of it. So, of course, he's going to get a contract, but I think he was deserving of it because what with Racing Point's recently turbulent time, what they want is someone who's consistency. Hence why they would have. I'm not surprised that they've kept everything fairly static. So, yeah, I don't buy into all of this. He only gets it because his dad runs it. Like, no, he's deserving of it. Like, certainly more so than some people I can think of. But yeah, like, come on, cut the guy a break. I know he's young, but he'll develop.
Yeah, he is young and he will develop. That's true. You know, he's only 22 now, I think, or something like that. I think he's okay. I just think there potentially could be better drivers out there. I don't think he's had an amazing year. I mean, you were saying about the points. He's got 21 points. He got 12. He's 4th place in Germany. So that's 9 other than that. And that put him behind Magnussen and Giovinazzi. But you could say the same for a few other drivers. Take away one result makes a big difference. But yeah, Sam, where do you sit on Stroll? I mean, Racing Point isn't the best car. But I still think his qualifying performance has been dire. I think he's only got into Q2 once or something like that. Like, he's very bad over one lap.
Yeah, he's terrible at qualifying, but then he always seems to make up places on the start, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
The race, you always see. Yeah. So he's very good at starting the race. He just needs to slow his pace over one lap. I'm not one of these people who hates Lance Stroll. At the end of the day, he still knows how to drive an F1 car. It's not as if he can't drive it, can he? So he has to be some sort of talent, and he's got a podium in his career. I think this year he's been all right. But yeah, Perez has absolutely wiped the floor with him, hasn't he? Really?
Yeah.
I think he's had a decent year, but he needs to sort out his qualifying if he wants to actually make an impact on the sport in the future.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's got a long way to go with qualifying and stuff like that. And maybe, Louis, it's more of a case of Perez just being that good rather than Stroll being off the pace.
Yeah, Perez had a very good season.
Yeah,
Did you go along with that, Louis?
Perez has been great. You know, he's truly like an overtaking maestro this season. You know, he's gained those places. He's got those points like consistently throughout the season, which Stroll just hasn't been able to do. You know, I'm not, George, you'll know that I'm not the biggest fan of Lance Stroll. Never really have been. But, you know, begrudgingly, I have to admit that he's had some good performances this season. I think Canada really showed what he's made of, you know, coming all the way from the back and finishing in the points. You have to give it to him. But, you know,
even though you really don't want to,
the pain in his face, though.
Yeah, we got a good result. Like, I can't take that away from him. Like.
Yeah, no. Oh, I was seething when he got his podium. It's not meant to be, you know.
But you were glad in Germany then. They got overtook by Vettel.
I was praying. I was going to just catch him.
2 more podiums than Hulkenberg in his whole career.
At the end of the day, though, you got
that.
to be there to
Yeah, you got to keep the nose clean at end of the day.
capitalize on these races.
Yeah, he did. He did a great job in Germany. He did a great job in Canada. You know, it's fair play to him. You know, he's had quite an average season, but it's hard when you're against any teammate which is just going to completely outdrive you like Perez did this year.
Yeah, and Perez is in his 9th season of F1 as well. Stroll's in his 3rd, I think. Yeah, 3rd. So there's a big difference there. I will be a bit harsher though. I will get off this fence. I'm ending this train of C's. I'm going with a D. I think a bit below average. Not terrible. I mean, you just compare his points to Perez. 21 points compared to Perez's 52. That's a big difference. That's over double. So I think D's probably about right for him, Jack.
Yeah, I think I might have to agree. I was gonna give him a C, but it's just like, do I rate him equal to Magnussen? No. So yeah, D. D's fair.
Sam?
Is there like C.5?
The D plus is
Between C minus.
C minus.
Because I don't want to give him a D because I think that's a bit harsh. I think C minus.
Okay, we'll allow minuses if you really feel that strongly about it. Louis,
did not think you could find another fence there.
he's built another one. He's built a two-sided fence. Louis.
Yeah, I think it has to be a D because he's not performed anywhere near how Sergio has done this season. I think next year he's got to really make sure that he's challenging Sergio a bit more closely.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was qualifying. That's what we need to do.
That'll be the difference, yeah. He races well, but he qualifies poorly. So if he sorts that out...
Imagine what he could achieve if he could qualify top Q2 consistently.
Yeah, well, it'd make a big difference what Perez does, and he finishes in the points regularly. So that's the difference. Them places at the start make a big difference. And with his starts as well, he'll make up places. So you never know. If he sorts that out, he could be all right. But one lap pace is something very difficult to improve on. It's more your consistency. That's the thing that counts. So yeah. Speaking of consistency, Nico Hulkenberg, the man who's consistently off the podium for his entire career, unfortunately.
Jesus Christ! I was not expecting that.
Anyway, I am. But in all seriousness, I do really rate the guy. I do. But I mean, this season is his last season in F1. Potentially, he's not going to be there next year. Maybe he'll come back. Who knows? But I think, in all seriousness, I don't think he's had that bad of a year. I think he's just been outshone by Ricciardo for the most part, Jack. I mean, the points difference isn't even that much between the two of them.
No, not really, is it? Yeah, right. Come on. Yes, you could have done it.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. I just thought of the segue and I went for it, all right?
No, I'm so gutted that he's not going to be here anymore.
I am too. He's a superb talent, isn't he?
Yeah.
He
All right. Come on, get a grip, Jack. Yeah, he's no, I can't do it.
Sam,
No.
what do you think? What do you think about Hulkenberg?
I wasn't sad when I first kind of thought when Renault announced Ocon as their driver. I thought, oh yeah, Hulk will get another drive easily, like Alfa Romeo or Haas.
Williams or something, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just so baffled as to how he hasn't got a seat, to be honest, because we were just talking about Lance Stroll a minute ago, and Hulkenberg's 10 times the driver that he is. I don't think Stroll's going to be on Hulkenberg's level, not fit to wear his suit, I don't think.
Yeah, but Stroll managed to get a podium, and Hulkenberg somehow didn't at a place where Stroll did. But then
Hulkenberg, you've also got to say he probably could have got a podium this year if he didn't crash out in Germany.
Yeah,
that little ice rink. Then he's also been unlucky with reliability as well, like Bahrain and
that was tragic, that wasn't
it? Yeah,
Bahrain when they both retired
in Japan.
Yeah, and that as well. No fault of his own. Yeah, I hope he's going to be back in 2021, to be honest, because he's a very good driver and he's a lovely guy.
He is, and he's a driver that people will want. He's experienced, so he'll be good with a big regulation change because everybody will be on a kind of a level playing field because of that. Yeah, I mean, it's also worth pointing out as well that Ricciardo didn't get a podium this year. So the Renault as a whole didn't get one. They came close, got 4th and 5th in Italy, I think. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard at the end of the day Louis, because that midfield battle's so tight. I mean, 17 points between him and Ricciardo, and Ricciardo was 9th. That's, it's a 5-place difference, and very tight margins there, isn't it?
Yeah, it was the Renault this season's been very up and down. It's had those tracks where it suited the car, and both drivers have really made sort of the most of it. But then on tracks where it didn't suit the Renault, they just completely crumbled, and that was it. They finished usually 11th and 12th. It's been, I wouldn't say it's been a poor effort. It's just been not where we expected Renault to be this year, and I think it's just a shame that it is a shame that Nico is leaving the sport this year. But I think Renault are just trying to hopefully. Well, they're probably getting some money from Mercedes for taking Ocon on, and also they're just looking to make they're just looking to make the 2020 car as competitive as possible.
Yeah,
Ocon is French as well.
Yeah, I'm part of it too. No, it is. It absolutely is. And Hulkenberg doesn't have sponsorship, and that's what's hurting him trying to get a drive at Haas, Alfa Romeo, Williams, even Kubica had big sponsorship. I don't know what Hulkenberg's got for sponsorship, so that's hurt him, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I think it's been an okay year for Hulkenberg. I think I'm going to get back on that fence. I'm going to give him a C. I think he's been all right. He's made some mistakes. He should have got a podium in Germany, but a lot of drivers should have got a podium in Germany. Hamilton should have got a podium in Germany. Bottas should have got a podium in Germany. Loads of drivers should have got them. It was just a mad race. It seems a bit harsh to criticise him for that. So I'm gonna say it's been an average year for him. I mean, it's very harsh that he's not in the sport next year. Definitely the best driver not in F1 next year in terms of the grid from this year. So, Jack, how do you rate Hulk?
I rate him highly. For this season, I'd give him a C, but overall, I'd rate him much higher than that.
Yeah.
The car has let him down with it's like what I think was what Louis said. It's either great or naff. Like that middle ground just didn't exist. So but if he was to stay in F1, he got to admit he should have been close to Ricciardo. It pains me to say that, but he probably should have been.
Sam?
Yeah, he's probably one of the best drivers ever to never stand on the podium easily.
Yeah.
I think he will be back in 2021, to be honest. I think he might go maybe to Haas, I don't know. Maybe Grosjean moves on. They want to get someone new in. Or maybe
after
gets a drive at a top team. Maybe, you never know. I'd love to see that in 2021. Him go to Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, but it's hard to see.
It's not going to happen, is it though?
Yeah, no, I'd love to see it, but I don't think it will happen. Yeah, he's had a good year, and it's just going to be sad to see him not there next year. But yeah, I think it's going to be another fence. It's going to be a C again, I think.
Louis, are we all up on that fence again?
No, I'm actually going to go for a D.
Oh,
I'm the harsh one.
Why?
I've only given that because I expected, coming into the season, I thought Nico would challenge a little bit more to Ricciardo. And sometimes his performances have really let him down this year where he could have beaten Ricciardo. Yeah, overall, I was expecting just a little bit more from him this season. So I'm going to give him a D.
I think we're maybe feeling a bit sorry for him, so that's why we a bit of a higher.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not even contemplating hiding my bias there.
That's all fair enough. That's fair enough. So next up, Daniil Kvyat, the torpedo himself, back in F1 in 2019, and despite his relatively lowly standings, I think it's exacerbated by having two different teammates who were in the Red Bull for half the year. So he's miles behind both of his teammates. But in reality, Jack, he wasn't that much off of Gasly or Albon when they were in the Toro Rossos.
No, not at all. Actually, Kvyat's had an all right year. He's still got a couple of signature moves there, but he's done okay. I've got to say, he's done all right.
Yeah, I think he's done well and he's come back, to be honest with you, Sam. But like Jack says, a few classic torpedo moves there, especially I think USA, Mexico, a few others as well. And what was he thinking kind of moves?
It was like 2 races in a row where he just went mad, wasn't it? Then the last couple of races, I kind of forgot he was there because I don't know. The first half of the year, I think he was really kind of surprised everyone with how good he was. How well he's performing. kind of tailed off towards the end, though. I think he had a very good start to the season, but then he's not been able to carry that level of performance across the season. But yeah, then again, he has had, as you said, the points are going to be just completely unbalanced because both his teammates were in a Red Bull throughout the season.
Not helped either by Gasly getting a miracle second.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's not helped it either now. But it has been a good comeback. I mean, for a guy that seemed dead and buried after 2017, Louis, he looks like he's never been away.
Yeah, it was. I was very surprised by Kvyat's performance this season. I think he did, as Sam said, he did a great job in the first half of the season, really showing us why he needed to be back in Formula One. But then, second half of the season, there's a few incidences when he just sent it at the inside of Kimi at Singapore. That was just a poor attempt, wasn't it? It was just seriously
ambitious but rubbish.
That's proper torpedo. That was.
Yeah, that was.
It was so far back, wasn't it? It's like the movie just trying F1 2019 when you just think screw it. There are no flashbacks in real life, so he did end up taking them both out. So there you go. I think it's been a good year for him. I think if we are doing pluses and minuses, I'm going to give him a C plus. I think he's a slightly above average year. Nothing too spectacular. That Toro Rosso has been a good car at the end of the day. But yeah, commend him.
Got a podium.
Yes. Yeah, he got a podium. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, he did get a podium. Yeah.
Okay. I forgot too. Germany.
You know what? B. I'm up in my grade. I'm going B. Right. I've literally got the results up here and I just literally skipped over that. That happened. Yeah, Germany, the podium.
As I said, I forgot he was there.
Yeah, it's one of them drivers that's just around at the back that you see in the stands.
Yeah.
You don't normally see on the telly much. I'll give him a B. Where are you going, Jack?
I'm going to take your previous grade as C plus, I'd say.
Oh, it's just copycat.
What did you expect? He just needs to. He would have got that B for me if he just sort of kept the momentum up into that second half of the season. And I know that he has been outclassed, but when those teammates have been in that Red Bull, I think he has been marginally, albeit, but he has been superseded by both his teammates. I would say. Otherwise, he might well have got that call to Red Bull. So his experience was in his favour. So C plus.
B, I think.
Yeah, good lad.
I think if he'd have, as Jack said, if he'd have performed as well as he did in the first part of the season across the whole season, he might have even got like an A- or something like that. But yeah, the podium, it was very good. You've got to keep your nose out of trouble. You've got to be there to capitalise on the chaos, and that's what he did. So I think he's had a much better year than anyone thought he was going to do. But then I don't think he'll ever go back to Red Bull because Helmut Marko's not one to go back on his word, is he?
That's true.
Well, it's tough to see him going back, to be fair, but he's had a good year. Louis, where do you stand on Kvyat?
I'm going to go C, just a plain old C.
Fair enough.
So moving on, Kimi Raikkonen in his first year at Alfa Romeo, back at sort of Sauber. The team is Sauber, just Alfa Romeo branding. After 18 years away, and Jack, very, very good first half of the season, but tapered off towards the end. But I guess that was mainly down to the car, really.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. It's another one of those sort of like a hat where they could mix it up in top 10 when like on their day, but post Belgium onwards, it's just a bit meh. So, but as ever, we know what Raikkonen will do. He just doesn't really give a shit, to be honest. He'll just do what he needs to do. So, I don't know sorry, but he just doesn't really care. He'll just drive and he just drives for the sake of it because he seems to just not want to stop driving. So, he's just sort of done what that car can do, but not really overdriving it, not really pushing it further. But
no, it's been solid.
We'd expect from Raikkonen with that experience.
Yeah, it's what you'd expect, to be fair. It's just like he was at Ferrari, very, very solid, and on his day, brilliant. I mean, there's some great results in there, definitely. I mean, not least Sam, his 4th place in Brazil. I mean, again, just like Giovinazzi, just kept his nose clean, didn't he? And got a brilliant result there. And it's a good year for a car that I think is not that much better than ones like the Haas.
Yeah. It's another one. He had a very good start to the season, but then the middle part of the season, the second part from Italy, Belgium onwards, he just seemed to be making mistake after mistake after mistake, and he had a very bad period there. Then kind of went up again towards the end of the season, got that brilliant 4th in Brazil. But then there's been a few races where he's just been kind of there, hasn't really done much. I think their car was better last year. I think they had a better car in 2018. What they did this year. I think marginally better.
Yeah, there's not much in it, to be fair. And I think this year they lost a lot out in the development race. Last year they were consistent. They got better as the season got on.
Yeah.
This year they got worse as the season got on. It did show. I mean, aside from his finish in his 4th place finish in Brazil, Louis, he didn't score in the second half of the season at all. But like I said earlier on, it's a reflection of the car. Really, wasn't really there.
Too often, this we've already said it's very much a season of 2 halves, wasn't it?
Yeah, one whole season. That's why.
Yeah, but it was disappointing to see Kimi not score apart from Brazil in the second half of the season. He is a great driver, and I think he definitely took us all by surprise at the start of the season, going, "Wow, he's still." Because we got so used to Kimi being up there, but of course we didn't expect much from him because he knew he was very much the second driver at Ferrari. So to get him back into that first driver role, I think he did brilliantly. And then he just got showed up by Giovinazzi for the second half of the season. Yeah, you have to give credit to Giovinazzi for stepping up his performances. But it was just it's a bit of a weird one from Kimi this season.
Yeah, I think next year will be very telling. I mean, obviously, it'll probably be his last year in F1, but if he does want to keep going, he's got to beat Giovinazzi comfortably. And like he did this season overall, but obviously the second half has been a lot closer. So we'll see how that goes. But saying all that, I'd give him a B. I think he's been above average. He's been good, especially first half of the season. Some of his performances are brilliant. That Alfa Romeo should not have been scoring points in a lot of the races that it did with in his hands. So, Jack, would you go along with that?
Maybe a B minus, because it was one that maybe should have made some of those mistakes, and he is the most experienced person we have. So, maybe dock him a little bit there.
Yeah, there were some embarrassing mistakes. We felt like jump starting Russia. Like, what the hell was he doing? Sam, where would you go on to Kimi Raikkonen?
C. I think he's made some pretty poor mistakes for a driver of his caliber and how experienced it is. I mean, he's probably going to be the most experienced driver, isn't he, ever next year when he overtakes Barrichello?
He will be, yeah.
This has started, I think. Yeah, had he continued his form throughout the whole season, would give him high B. But then I think he's had a pretty poor moments, so C. But I think next year will probably be his last year. I mean, he's 40 now. I don't think he's going to want to continue that after next year. Which can't be asked, can it? Because it's Kimi.
He can't be asked, but if he could be asked, he would not have gone to Alfa Romeo. So, in all seriousness, he could well keep going. But I think if he's not got the pace there, then he's not going to keep going. He's not stupid. He's not.
Good sound bites as usual from his team radio.
And his interviews as well. I mean, if you could go back and talk to your 21-year-old self, what would you say? I would not talk to him.
He's a legend. He's a legend, isn't he? He's
absolutely is, and I will sorely miss him. I'm so glad he's back next year. Another year of Kimi, where he will not even give anywhere near as much of a shit as what he has this year, because it probably will be his last year. What they're going to do? Sack him? Louis.
Yeah, I'll give him a C. I think it's been a pretty average performance. I think you have to look at the fact that he didn't really do that well in the second half of the season. I think if he continued his form from the first half, I think I would have given him a solid B. But it's just that second half of the season that let him down.
So going from the oldest driver in F1 to, I believe, the youngest, Lando Norris, 11th place in the driver's standings, above Kimi Raikkonen, above Hulkenberg, above some brilliant drivers it has been an unbelievable first year for him, Jack. I mean, he's been outshone by Sainz, but Sainz will get on to him. He's had an unbelievable year himself. That McLaren and Norris just seem to work very well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Milkman himself is he's really impressed. I've got to say, like for a rookie as well, like do some of the moves he's done, some of the performance he's had, like unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you could make an argument from being potentially the rookie of the year, Sam. I mean, I personally wouldn't, but he's definitely up there. He's done a fantastic job with that McLaren. I mean, some brilliant points finishes throughout the year, just very consistent, really.
Yeah, just whenever you say the name Lando Norris, a smile comes to my face. I absolutely love it. He's probably, I'm not really one for having a favourite driver, but he's probably my favourite driver in the grid now. I will always look out for what he's doing. For example, when his tyre, I think he's been so unlucky this year. So many races could have scored points, like Belgium, Canada, Abu Dhabi, he was unlucky. It's the one where Mexico, when his tyre didn't go on. I think he could have finished in the top 10 easily had those things not happened. I think he's very unlucky to finish outside top 10. But yeah, rookie year, and the best thing about him is his personality. I think he's such a lovely guy. He's just down to earth. He's not one of these boring robot drivers that just say yada yada yada. He has personality in all of his interviews, the memes, everything. Oh, I just love him.
I knew the memes were getting a mention. He's brilliant. He's absolutely fantastic on Twitter. Do follow him. Honestly, you'll have a laugh. He'll brighten your day up. He's a fresh air at the end of the day, Louis. And to top it off, the thing that matters, he's a brilliant driver. He's 20 years old as well. It's unbelievable, really, isn't it?
I mean, you said you wouldn't personally give him Rookie of the Year. 100% Rookie of the Year for me. That's not McLaren bias at all. No, but he has been absolutely phenomenal this season. I think of so many races where he should have scored points, but like Britain, he was in Silverstone, he was on for a great finish, but the safety car just came out just after he pitted, and he completely screwed him over. And then Sam's touched on the rest. He's been absolutely incredible this year. I remember absolutely screaming my head off when he was fighting for P3 in Austria with Lewis Hamilton. He's going absolutely mental, thinking, yes, Lando, you are. And so many just mature drivers from him. I think, France, I think he did everything he possibly could, given his circumstances. His power steering was failing. He couldn't use his DRS. But he still managed to keep that McLaren going until the very last lap. And then, what happened. Yeah. But, great performance all year from Lando.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolute A for effort, absolute A for memes, and an A overall from me. He's getting an A. Jack?
I think I'll give him a B.
Why is that? Qualifying?
Yeah, a little bit. And, he's still got to learn. There's always going to be a development. If he was getting an A at the bat, I mean, Russell was a bit of an anomaly in that circumstance. I'd say I give him a B. He's got a welcome car development as well, so we'll see how he does for next year. Because if you can actually start providing some strong information for that team, because McLaren are on the up and up, and they're going to be hungry for momentum from both their drivers. So I'm very interested to see how he carries on in a much more taxing environment.
Definitely. It will be interesting to see his second season. That'll be a big test for him. Sam?
A, easily. I think he's had a very good year. I think the start of the season, Australia, he was more scared to make a few overtaking moves, but then as the season's gone on, he's definitely grown into the car a lot more, mature as a driver as much as he can in his first season. Formed a very good relationship with Carlos Sainz, which you really don't see very often these days. That's one of the reasons why I think he's been so popular, is because his McLaren relationship has been something of a breath of fresh air, as you said, compared to what we had before with Alonso just moaning all the time. I cannot stand him, to be honest. I really hope he doesn't ever come back. Really, I hate it when I see articles like, "Oh, will Alonso return?" No, but yeah, Lando, a definite A from me.
Louis?
Yeah, 100% an A. You know, I absolutely love him. I think he's been absolutely top quality this season. You know, he did win the qualifying battle with Carlos Sainz in his first season, which I think is pretty impressive. I think I didn't expect him to do it around Abu Dhabi. Carlos definitely looked like the quicker driver, but then he sort of pulled it out of the bag, and it's like absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic season from all over. So yeah, that's the first half of this podcast. We're going to split this one into two because it's going to be a long one, obviously. Just to remind you guys that we are available on YouTube, Spotify, the F1 Chronicle website, of course, Pocket Casts, Apple Music. We've got Reddit as well. Just search for New F1 Podcast looking for advice. Thank you for listening to this first part. And yeah, the next part should be up soon. So thank you very much. Thank you guys for joining us.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, no worries.
Okay, and see you guys soon. So, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.